Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the hidden secrets of the 7 continents, a story you've never heard. What if I told you the continents we know today were never meant to exist? That their names, their borders, and even their very shapes were shaped by war, betrayal, and pure luck. Imagine a world where history took a different turn, where Africa wasn't called Africa, where America could have been named after a completely different person, or where an 8th continent thrived. Sounds crazy, right? Well, today, we're diving deep into the untold story of the 7 continents, their names, their history, and the strange twists of fate that brought them to where they are today. By the end of this video, you'll never look at a world map the same way again. Let's start by exploring how the continents got their names. Before we talk history, let's talk names. Because honestly, who decided to call them this? Did some ancient wise man just wake up and think, "Yep, that looks like an Asia to me"? Not quite. Africa. It wasn't always called Africa. The Romans called it Africa Terra, but before that, it had a name given by the Greeks, Ethiopia. Some say Africa comes from the Berber word Ifriqiya, meaning land of caves. Others argue it was named after a Roman general. Either way, it wasn't even used widely until the Middle Ages. Asia. The name Asia might come from the Assyrian word Asu, meaning east, or from an ancient Greek misunderstanding of Anatolia. What's funny? The Romans thought Asia was just a small province. If they could see what we call Asia today, they'd lose their minds. Europe. The name Europe might come from the Phoenician word Arab, meaning west. But here's a twist. Europe is named after a mythical Phoenician princess who was kidnapped by Zeus. So, yeah, our entire continent might be named after an ancient kidnapping. So, if we followed that naming logic today, America should be called Columbus Land, and Australia should just be giant desert with spiders. History has a way of making things seem inevitable. But what if I told you the continents we know today almost never existed at all? Their very existence was shaped by mistakes, miscalculations, and pure luck. North and South America. Did you know America was almost named Columbia? Or even worse, Vespuccia? Yep, Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian explorer, somehow ended up lending his name to 2 entire continents. Even he was confused by it. But here's where it gets wild. If Columbus had his way, the continents would have been called something completely different. Australia. The British named it Terra Australis Incognita, unknown southern land. But it could have easily been called New Holland, or even New Britain, if history had played out differently. Imagine calling Australians New Hollanders. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it? Antarctica. The name means opposite of the Arctic. That's it. That's the story. A continent filled with frozen secrets, and the best name we could come up with is literally not the Arctic. But the real story isn't just about names. It's about the continents that never were, the lands that were lost, and the ones that might still rise again. We've explored how continents got their names and the ones that almost never existed. But what about the lands that were lost, or the ones that could rise again? Pangaea and the lost supercontinents. What if I told you that 250 million years ago, there weren't 7 continents, there was just one? Pangaea. A single massive landmass that eventually broke apart to form the world we know today. And before that, other supercontinents, Rodinia, Gondwana, Laurasia, each with their own tragic fate. Zealandia, the hidden continent. You think there are 7 continents? Think again. There's an 8th one hiding beneath the ocean, Zealandia. Most of it is underwater, but geologists argue it should be recognized as the newest continent, which means New Zealand isn't just an island nation, it's the tip of a lost world. The future, what comes next? Scientists predict that in 250 million years, the continents will collide again, forming a new supercontinent. It even has a name, Pangaea Proxima. What will humans call it? Will they even remember our names for the continents today? Or maybe they'll just name it after the biggest fast food chain at the time. Welcome to my continent. The continents we live on weren't meant to last forever. Their names, their borders, even their very existence, everything about them is temporary. And yet, here we are, acting like the world is set in stone. But now, you know the truth. You know the stories behind the names, the lands that were lost, and the ones that could rise again. So, here's a question for you. If you could rename any continent today, what would you call it? Drop your best or weirdest names in the comments below. Let's see who comes up with the most creative one. And hey, if you want to keep uncovering the unbelievable truths about the world, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, this is just the beginning.